Hello, nightmare investigators. Today I'm telling you 10 more curiosities, one for each issue, from numbers 21 to 30 of Dylan Dog. Let's dive right into this journey into the unknown. 21. Some fans have noticed that the cover of Cursed Day, illustrated by Claudio Villa, may hide two fascinating references. The setting and framing seem to recall the Nightmare at 20,000 Feet episode from The Twilight Zone, with its tension and sense of isolation. Moreover, the look of the eerie masked killer resembles the cover of the Black Sabbath album Never Say Die. There's no official confirmation from the publisher or author, so these remain fan theories, but they add an extra layer of charm, turning the cover into a playful visual riddle. 22. In this issue, The Tunnel of Horror, on page 61, and also in the previous issue on page 58, a detail is revealed that sent fans into a frenzy. Dylan Dog is said to have died in 1686. A cryptic phrase that would remain etched in readers' minds for years, sparking endless theories and debates. Much later, in issue 100, that date gains a precise meaning, tied to Dylan's origins and his connection with Zabras. The year 1686 wasn't chosen at random, it's exactly 300 years before the release of the first issue, Dawn of the Living Dead, 1986, marking one of the earliest clues to Dylan's almost eternal nature. At the time, no one could have imagined how this small line would become a cornerstone of the entire saga's mythology. 23. Some readers believe that the mysterious island contains a double homage to both literature and genre cinema. The story, set on Egg Island, a desolate rock in the middle of the sea populated by animal men, and the strange experiments of Dr. Lancaster, seems inspired by H.G. Wells's 1895 novel The Island of Dr. Moreau. At the same time, others notice echoes of Flowers for Algernon, 1958, for its theme of transformation and altered intelligence. These parallels were never officially confirmed, but for many fans, they add a deeper literary allure to the story. 24. Many fans, when reading Pink Rabbit's Kill, couldn't help but think of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, the cult film released on June 22, 1988. The comic, published that same September, reflects the film's spirit in an eerie way. Both blend the cartoon world with reality, but in Dylan Dog, comedy turns to nightmare. In the movie, Roger Rabbit is a cartoon character living among humans. In Sclavi's version, that idea is twisted into horror. The pink rabbit isn't funny or cute, but a warped symbol of childhood imagination turned deadly. A pink rabbit that laughs too loudly and hides terror behind its smile. 25. If you thought Morgana was just a secondary character, think again. She's actually Dylan Dog's mother, and her presence runs deep in the mythology of the series. First introduced as an enigmatic, dreamlike figure, she appears for the first time in this issue. Only much later, in issue 100, her true relationship with Dylan is revealed. For many readers, Morgana represents two sides of Dylan's nature, lost affection and origin, but also mystery and dream, a presence suspended between life and nightmare. This dual role, mother, myth, and symbol, makes her one of the most meaningful and haunting figures in the series. Soon, we'll dedicate an entire episode to Morgana exploring her story, appearances, and secrets. The cover by Claudio Villa also hides a small, but notable detail: the distinctive pattern of clouds behind the moon, often seen as the artist's visual signature, adding even more mystique to the artwork. 26. Some fans have observed that After Midnight bears striking similarities to After Hours, 1985, by Martin Scorsese. It's not just about setting. Both protagonists are trapped in a nocturnal city that turns into a hostile labyrinth. Dylan's London, like Manhattan in the film, becomes unfamiliar and suffocating, where every alley, every face, and every encounter deepens the sense of disorientation and tension. 27. In this issue, Groucho tries to cheer Dylan up by playing Goodbye Cruel World by Pink Floyd. Ironic and almost cruel, the song, from the 1979 album The Wall, speaks of isolation and farewell to the world, hardly uplifting. The contrast enhances the melancholy tone of the story, showing how Sclavi uses music to enrich his characters psychologically. 28. In Razor Blade, Dylan Dog finds himself in an apparently perfect suburb where an eerie, mechanical horror lurks beneath the surface. Fans have pointed out clear references to Ira Levin's novel The Stepford Wives, model wives, unnatural behavior, and an artificial perfection masking terror. But that's not all. Echoes of Ridley Scott's Blade Runner can also be felt, in its questions about humanity, illusion, and the thin line between man and machine. On page 22, some readers have even spotted a visual homage to Don Siegel's Invasion of the Body Snatchers, with its silent replacement of identities and creeping paranoia. Between shadows and stillness, Dylan walks through a maze of polished facades and growing unease, where every frame seems to nod to classic horror cinema and literature. 29. Fans have noticed that the policemen in this issue are named Sting, Summers, and Copeland, the real names of the members of the rock band The Police. Meanwhile, the main antagonist is called Fred Englund, a clear homage to Robert Englund, the actor behind Freddy Krueger in Nightmare on Elm Street. The character's features, menace, and nightmarish aura echo the cinematic villain, blending horror tribute with Sclavi's creativity and reinforcing the link between comics and horror cinema. 30. In the haunted house, Dylan Dog steps into a home that seems alive, where every corridor, room, and corner drips with tension and dread. The structure and atmosphere immediately recall Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, 1980. Long empty hallways, echoing footsteps, and doors concealing secrets turn domestic space into something suffocating and sentient. But that's not all. Sudden flashes of light, self-moving objects, and ghostly presences evoke Poltergeist, 1982, summoning a malevolent spirit that toys with reality. Bonus. In 1999, the PC video game Dylan Dog, Horror Luna Park was released, inspired by the universe of the Nightmare Investigator. The game plunges players into a sinister amusement park filled with abandoned rides, dark mazes, and eerie creatures. Dylan must solve mysteries and face supernatural threats in an atmosphere that perfectly captures the tone of the comics, turning horror, suspense, and dark humor into an immersive experience. We've explored one curiosity for each issue from 21 to 30. In the next episode, we'll continue with 10 more, from issues 31 to 40. The nightmare isn't over yet. See you in the next episode.